This conference will now be recorded.
So, good morning once again to all of you. And today we are going to start a new series of storage of cloud, right? So, we are starting with the S3 storage. So, guys, are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So, what we have done in the previous slides of the previous classes, we have done the architecture of AWS. We have done some high availability kind of stuffs. We have disaster recovery stuffs, and we have also done the auto scaling and elastic load balancer sort of things. And we have created some of the EC2 instances and mapped all sort of stuffs, right? So the storage part we are going to start it today, and we have some different the storage things is available in the AWS as per the use case. So we are going with the simple things, and then we will going for some advanced sort of stuffs, right? So the simple service storage is called S3, and S3 is basically is a bucket. We can say that a bucket are used to store objects which consist of data and metadata that describes the data. Suppose in the scenario that in the earlier days, what happened, because we have a several what usage of data, and if anyone used to get the data, we will have to create a public folder, and we have to provide everyone in the full permission. So, okay, so in the AWS environment we have a code a bucket, and we can provide the permissions as per the user requirement, and different sort of things we can do it. The first things we can do it here is basically, yeah, it's a object based storage, right? So on any object we can store into this S3 bucket. Okay, and it is an unlimited storage, so there is no what limit of what any storage. We have is specific limit of what object of 0.5 terabyte, and then we have to increase the size of the S3 bucket. So there is no line limitations of the storage. We have unlimited storage, we can use it, and is high availability, high durable. This is it. The S3 bucket is always be available, and it is also a durability of 99.9%, right? So it is durable and available of 99%, and object size of 0.2 5 terabyte size. So you can use this S3 bucket for all sort of usage. Okay, and it's a public storage. You can also create, so you can just uh, add some storage, different kind of object of different kind of files, so that you can access at any point of time. Suppose you created a EC2 instance, and then there are number of logs are coming to the EC2 instance, so you can directly map to the S3 bucket to with your EC2 instances, so that your logs are will be what stored in a public or public or private storage. You can create a S3 bucket for the same use case. Okay. So, what is the benefit of the buckets? Buckets are main storage containers of S3, and tags can be used to organize buckets. So you can provide a different kind of tags once you created your bucket. Suppose it's a finance kind of finance a bucket. This is a purchase bucket. This is a different DevOps bucket. So you can provide different tags as per your use cases. Buckets are main storage for containers for S3. Each bucket must have unique name across all of the AWS. So you have to provide a always be a different name once you are going to create the AWS bucket. So you can easily well-known names that what kind of storage it is all about. And S3 can be used to hosting static websites and used with the Multipart. So there are the multiple use cases we can use of the bucket same times. S3 can act as an origin to the cloud front. So it is also used case as an origin in the cloud front. Once you are going with the cloud front, we will come to know that we have different use cases of the bucket. The bucket limitation is also available. The bucket on 100, only 100 buckets can be created at a time, right? Bucket ownership cannot be transferred once it is created. So these are the some limitations of the bucket, and these are the some use cases of as you can work in the environment of a corporate environment. Okay, so S3 buckets are what exactly? S3 is an object-based storage, and objects consists of the following. So what is an object is all about, and how it is can be used in the AWS environment. So the first thing is key. This is simply the name of the bucket. So you have to provide the name of the bucket is the key, and then you provide some values. This is simply the data and the made up of the sequence of the bytes. So you have different data that can be uploaded, downloaded, and the storing, backup sort of things. And the third thing is the version ID, important for versioning. So versioning is basically used for your duplicacy, how much data. Suppose you provide your data today, and then the same file you have to provide at this tomorrow. So there is a versioning is come to the pictures, and then it is maintain the duplicacy, how it is cost effectively, and storage will be working whether it is stored the data at the same time or not storage the data, and how it is cost effectively maintain the data. That's all about this kind of sort of things. Metadata is data about the data you are storing same time, and subsources is ACL is basically comes to the picture. So different kind of things we can use, you can use it. So all sort of things with key, value, version, metadata, the subsources all comes to the pictures when it is working practical sort of things. Okay, so the objects is all objects are static files which are contains the metadata. Suppose you any your PDF file, your PPT files, or any sort of files, it is all about your static data, right? And the second thing is objects stay with the AWS region and synced across all the availability zones. So once you created the S3 bucket, and then it is will be what AWS region, and then it will be synced all the availability zones. So there is no issues with whether your issue whether your bucket is lost or any availability zone is lost, then you will got your S3 bucket same time, no problem with this. So high availability all the time. Read after write consistency of the puts of the new of the objects. So it we can use this particular S3 bucket command line tool as well, CLI, we can say that. So we can provide the put commands to the new objects will be entered into the write, and the eventually consistency of the overwrite puts and delete can take some time to propagate. So we can use the puts and delete those sort of commands when we are going to using the CLI mode. Each object must be assigned a storage type which defines the object availability, durability, and cost, right? By default all objects are private, right? So once you're creating any S3 bucket, it is always be a private once so it's depend on your use cases, or it is depend on you that whether you have to go for the public or not. Okay, and there are some different cases that we have to go for the publicly accessible S3 bucket from the outside of the world, and if we have to create a different users, and the IAM identity access manager is also comes to the picture. So we'll talk later on once we're going for the IAM security part. Objects as small as 0 bytes as long as 5 terabytes. So we have the 0 bytes too. The large file is 5 TB, so you can different options available. So whether you have to go for the one single file of 5 TB, you can store it, or 0 bytes file you can also store it. Can have multiple versions if enabled. So we have different options available once you're going on the practical sort of things. You can enable the versioning same time. It is an encrypted S3 bucket, so AES in 1256 and AWS KMS also, both things are working here. So you can say that your every object into the S3 bucket is encrypted, right? And your bucket is encrypted, and the encrypted is AES 256. Yes, this is a new sort of encryption technology, and if you are well aware about the VPN sort of things, then you can understand that AES 256 is all about, and it's a encrypted sort of things. Okay, and automatically switch to different versions. So once it is new versions is available, it is automatically switch to the new version. So that is all about the object is all about, we can say that. So object keys, when we are going for the particular S3 is all about Amazon S3 data model is a flat structures. You can create a bucket and the bucket stores object, all sort of things. Amazon S3 supports bucket and objects. There is no hierarchy in the Amazon S3. However, the prefixes and determines its object key name, enables the Amazon S3 console and AWS SDK and introduce concept of the folders. We have created the S3 bucket, and then we can have to upload all sort of our objects into this, and we can create the different folders. If you have just take a look, and we can upload sort of things, and we have created different kind of folders inside the bucket as per your use case, and then you can just put your upload your files into the particular folders. Okay, so the development team and the project then XLS, PDF and different things are available, and deployment model is the prefixes is development, finance and private. So this is the prefix, we can say that the name of the folders, it's a prefix, right? So permissions, we also provide some permissions into this particular S3 buckets. So the permissions, when we're talking about the all objects and buckets are private by default. So you have to be well aware about that, because always your storage will be in the private sort of things, and but once it is requirement of the public, you can just make for the public sort of things. Bucket policies, which are attached only to buckets, not IAM users. So you have to provide some bucket policies you have to create and attached with the bucket, not to the IAM users are basically the identity access manager users, how to permissions on the bucket of the user, right? But what is the permissions on the bucket, that is we have to provide the bucket policies. Just there are two different things and two different cases we have to use in different situations. Both buckets and objects has a access control list, so you can just different access control list you can provide it. Public constant downloadable by the URL, so it is very simple to use. It is like your HTTP browsers, and you can just simply download all sort of things on the public way. Grant permissions to the other AWS accounts. So you can also have the options available. So you can suppose you have one AWS account, and uh, the company have two or three multiple different clients available, and they have the different AWS accounts. So you can create a one S3 buckets like right, and then you can just map with all three AWS accounts same times, right? So there is no confusion, because only as AWS account one S3 bucket will be used for two or three different S3 accounts same times, as per your use cases, if you allowed it. Okay, then it is we are just going for the storage classes, the object availability, object durability and frequency of access. These are the three things is most important once you are talking about any cloud storage. Suppose we are working on a Azure side, if we are working on the IBM software side, if we are talking about some different Nutanix cloud, data grid side and different clouds. So these are the three things most important. Every cloud object availability, if your object is available at the same time, so what is all about, and object durability, how it is durable, and the frequency of the access, how effectively we can access the things. So those sort of things we are just talking about here. Standard is basically 99 point durable, immediately available and frequency access. Reduced redundancy storage, and this is 99.9% data that is easily readable, such thumbnails. Infrequent access S3 IA, and this is also 99% durable, immediately available once it is required. And the glacier is the important part. Okay, and it archive data where you can wait 3 to 5 hours before accessing. Okay, so these are the three things, and these are the some sort of things into the AWS storage cloud. And this is the we have some different kind of things. If you look into the practical sort of things of AWS S3, this is standard sort of things you're just talking about. So it means that this is the durable sort of things and immediately available at the same time. If you're talking about the reduced redundancy storage, okay, that is easily reproducible, such as thumbnails, and instant access 3 is also it's available, durable, it's long term sort of things, that the time limit is more and immediately available, and infrequent accesses, and the glacier is also archiving of sort of data, and it is available 3 to 5 hours. So these terms you have to just keep it memorized for the future if you are working on the future of the AWS. So the thing is about the versioning. What is the versioning is about? Store all versions of an object, including deleted. Once versioning is enabled, it cannot be disabled, only suspended. Okay. So basically, if you enable the versioning, it cannot be disabled, only suspended. Okay. Integrated with the lifecycle rules, you can integrate with the versioning with the lifecycle rules. Multi-factor authenticated delete compatibility, which uses multi-factor authentications, can be used to provide an additional layer. So you can also use as MFA. Once we're talking about the security IAM, we were just talking about MFA, but it is a multi-factor authentication like SSO and LDAP, or different kind of what authentication protocols we can use it to delete the compatibility. Okay, and which multi-factor authentications can be used to provide additional layer. Cross-zone replications required versioning enabled on the source bucket, right? So if your bucket is a cross-zone application, suppose you have created the bucket here and then one region, and you have to just sync with the different kind of regions. So that is the requirement of versioning, is also will be available same times. If your versioning is not available, it will not be synced at the same time, because it is same duplicacy sort of things is available on the different region at the same time. So the lifecycle policies can be used to conjunction with the versioning. Okay, so we have to create some lifecycle policies into this, can be used to conjunction with with versionings, can be applied to current version or previous versions. Okay, and following actions can be done. So transition to the standard infrequent access storage class 30 days after the creation state. Archive to the glacier storage 30 days after uh, if it IA if it's relevant, and permanently deleted. So that sort of things you can go for it. So we can have a different options available in the S3 bucket. So create a lifecycle policies, versioning sort of things, and we have different prefixes we can create it, and the unique name is of always be available on the S3 bucket. So that sort of things we have to do it. And the encryptions is also available. So we have this in transit, we have SSL and TLS is available, and at rest, if your data is in rest position, right, it is in glacier sort of things, and it is available for the long term in the S3 bucket, then it is be S3 managed keys. So you can these are the some SSE S3 keys are available to what your data will be available, so accessible same times. AWS key management service, managed keys, SSE, and KMS, key management service, and SSE is basically your key available, how to encrypt data, and also same time how to access the data of your encrypted data. Server side encryptions with customer private keys, and these are the server side encryption. We can encrypt our server side data at the same time, and the provided customer can provide the SSC keys to the to access the data same time. So it is the encrypted sort of things is also available into the S3 bucket, and how to access the data, and it is a matter of fact that it is transit of data. It is sending receiving same time, ingress outgress data same time, or the data will be it is in rest position. Okay. So the matter of fact that you need to understand all the encryption part at the same time. S3 transfer acceleration is also important same time. Amazon simple storage service, Amazon transfer acceleration enables fast, easy, and and secure transfer of files between your clients and the S3 bucket over long distances. This topic describes how to enable the S3 transfer the data. So that is the enable options you need to go for it. How effectively data is going to shared with different kind of regions. Same times you can say that. So you have to enable the endpoints endpoint. Only the one click is requirement is over there. Okay, and the how you transfer your data is fast and easy. You can just manage it over there. This is the requirement of enables fast and easy and secure transfers of files from one end to second another end. So this is a transfer accreditations. You need to enable it. So the cross-region application is also important part, right? So the cross-region application is a bucket level. Mm, is cross-region application is a bucket level configurations that enables automatic synchronization copying of the object across buckets in the different AWS regions. So cross-region applications means that you have created the one bucket at the one region, and the same bucket will be replicated to the different region same time. Suppose any disaster has been happened and your one region is goes down, right? So your bucket is also available on this another region same time. Okay, so it is required some high availability same time and the disaster recovery sort of things. Okay, and recovery time objective RTO is also the same times we have to go for it. So we refer to these buckets are source bucket and destination bucket. These buckets can be owned by different AWS accounts. So we have the also option available same times, because if you created one bucket at the same times and it is mapped with the one AWS account, and we have a different AWS account, we can it is will be accessible from a different AWS account. And second thing, it is if you created one region AWS S3 bucket, and it you can just cross region the application same time, so that it will be available all the time, right? So these are the some and your S3 bucket will be encrypted same times, and your S3 bucket you can enable the versioning same times. Okay, so all sort of things we can do it into the S3 bucket. That is requirement, and your by default once you created your S3 bucket, it is in private state. So if you require some sort of files to be publicly accessible, so you have to go for the enable the public sort of things. And you can also create some policies over the S3 bucket, how it is what working together with the EC2 instances, also with the cloud formation sort of things. So replicas have the same key names and attach metadata. For example, creations time, user defined metadata, and version ID. So the replicas have same sort of things. So you have got lots of informations about the data. For example, creation of time, user defined data, metadata, and version ID. All sort of things you will got it here. Amazon S3 stores object replicas using the same storage class as the same source object, unless you explicitly specify a different storage class in the application configuration. So you have different classes you can just create it, unless you exactly specify different storage class. So different classes of S3 is available. Once we're talking about some different slides, we just gone through it. We were talking about the different classes of the S3 bucket. Assuming that the object replicas continues to owned by the source object owner, and when Amazon S3 initially replicates object, it also replicates the corresponding object access control list. So you can have different permissions you can just apply it on the S3 bucket at the same times. If you're going to the IAM users, and we have different policies available, we have different permissions available for the S3 bucket. So you can just provide the access control list sort of permissions to the S3 bucket. So that is the main objective of the particular slide. Is basically this particular point is closed region applications is also important, because it is a high available of your S3 bucket. It is if your region goes down, right? And we have different AWS account we can map with the S3 bucket, so it can be accessible from anywhere, and it is easy to manage. It is a flexible sort of approach of your data. So multi-part upload is basically Amazon S3 multi-part upload, which allows faster, more flexible uploads into Amazon S3, and and the multi-part upload allows you to upload a single object as a set of parts. After all parts, so you can objects are uploaded, Amazon S3 then presents the data as a single object, right? So you must be allowed to perform to the S3 bucket, put object into this, and it is will be done through the CLI through Amazon S3. command line sort of things, and bucket owner can allow the principals to perform the S3 put object actions. So the matter of fact that when we got talking about in the S3 bucket, we have multi-part upload. We have different sort of things we can upload, and we can also provide the allow permissions or deny permissions on the by the bucket on the same time to a different users. Whether this user have the permissions to upload the files or not upload the files, that sort of permissions we can also grant it from the bucket owners to the particular bucket. Oh, wait a second. Right. So what is multi-part upload we are just talking about? So this is the 1 MB files, this is 10 MB files, this is 100 MB files. Okay, so we can just larger objects plus smaller bandwidth connections, increasing the risk of network issues. If an upload fails, you must restart the object. So that's how that sort of before you uploading of any sort of data of multi, if the files can be 1 MB or it's a file, it can be 100 MB sort of files, right? So the object upload fails and you must restart the object. You must know the object size before starting the uploading as linear and ability to parallelize. So that sort of things you need to take care of it. But if you're talking about the multi-part upload, this is the before sort of things before we going for the upload part. But if you're going with the multi-part upload sort of things, then it's a different files, chunks of files. It is created. If you have 1 GB file, it is checking of the bandwidth, it is checking of the upload, is they start kind of things, and the objects larger files, it will be checked. But it's a multi-part upload sort of things, then your 1 GB file should be converted into the 5 MB sort of files, and it will be sending this kind of things. So anything any file will be lost it here, it is sending again at the same times. So the initiate a multi-part upload. Okay, separate the objects into multiple parts and upload the parts in any other order, one time parallel compute through upload. So the matter of fact that what I'm trying to achieve here, basically, if you have a 1 TB or 2 TB or 1 terabyte file or 2 terabyte of files, you have to upload into this particular S3 bucket, and it should be working like as a multi-part upload, and it is the chunks of your files will be created, and it will be stored into the S3 bucket. So there is no possibility of what data should be failure or any issues happen before, because it was done. Issues happen into the earlier in once we are going for the server storage sort of things in the physical environment, it was happened. But in the cloud environment, there is no sort of issues happen because the multi-port upload is also available same time. Okay, so that's the end of this particular slide. We have some going to some advanced sort of features into the same time, right? So are you able to see the screen second slide?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we are just going to some advanced sort of features, because it's a basic fundamentals of S3. But if we're talking about the AWS cloud environment, we have different storage environments available same time. So we have to study each by each. But before we talking about, we have to understand the what type of cloud and what is use cases and where we have to use which cloud sort of things. So if you're talking about the Amazon EFS, is a file level storage. So suppose if you have to upload sort of things and Amazon EFS, so you can, if you have file level storage required, go for the Amazon EFS sort of things. Suppose you require some object based storage, then you have to go for the S3 Amazon. It's a bucket level sort of things. We have providing versioning, replicacy, and encrypted sort of things, and what map with the public or private or solve this sort of things, we can do it in the S3 bucket, right? Wait a second. Okay, and if we are going with the S3 Amazon Glacier, if you have some archiving of your data, if you have time more than 3 to 5 hours to restoring your data, you can go for the Amazon Glacier. It is basically once if you're creating the S3 bucket and then you provide the policies you moved your data S3 bucket to Glacier, then it is archiving your data same times, and you can create a policies how many number of days it will be restore your data. And if you okay, and you can restore your data 3 to 5 hours in the same times. We will talking about all sort of things, the advanced features of Amazon Glacier in the next coming slides later on. Okay, and the third thing is basically if you have data is block storage kind of things, then you have to go for the EBS, elastic block storage sort of things, pristine stop. If you why we have to use the ABS sort of things, the ABS where we are using snapshot of your existing EC2 instances, right? So suppose your instances goes down, or your instance have some got some issues, or you have to run the same kind of instances snapshot to the different regions, so you can use the ABS volume same time, right? Amazon EC2 instance store, so you can also the storage kind of EC2 instance storage same time, you can also use it same times. Okay, so that is block level storage, this is object level storage, and this is the file level storage. These are the three important prospects of the cloud storage part. Okay, and we are using all sort of three different things at the different case scenarios as a corporate environment, corporate requirement sort of things. And these in the below of this particular slide we have just checked up the batches and streams. So AWS snowball edges and Snow Mobile and AWS Storage Gateway and AWS Direct Connector, third-party connections, transfer accelerations, and Amazon Kansas um, Firehouse. So these are the some this sort of features, this sort of services we are use into the AWS of migration sort of things. We have to go for it. The storage gateway sort of things. Suppose your company is using the VMware, and you have to your VMware machines need to be moved to the EC2 instances. You have to going for the migration sort of things. Go for the AWS storage gateway sort of things. AWS Direct Connect, if you require some more connectivity and high bandwidth of your two different regions, go for the Direct Connect sort of things. So these are the some what the services, the features we can use it with a storage, and we can also use in different case studies same time. So these are the what the four things we are just talking about the storage of any AWS environment, right? So what to expect from the session? So we have the pick the right storage class for your use cases, right? Automate management tasks, right? Best practices to optimize S3 performance, and tools to help you manage storage. So these are the four things before you going for the what implementation of, you have to create any sort of storage on the cloud environment. So you have to ask to yourself that whether I have to pick the right storage classes for my use cases. Can I automate the management task of the particular storage? And what is the best practice to optimize the S3 performance or different storage sort of things? And what type of tools I can manage to storage sort of things. So these are the four fundamental things of the storage part where you have to apply it into any corporate environment. So there are data transfer into Amazon S3. So these are the some we have just talking about the services of Amazon Direct Connect, Amazon Snowball, ISV connections, and AWS Snowball Edge, AWS Snowball Mobile, AWS Storage Gateway, S3 transfer calculations, Kansas, Firehouse. So these are the some data transfer sort of things we are just talking about. How effectively you data transfer one storage to another storage, so, right? And one region to another region. So one applications to another applications, applications to your EC2 instances. So all sort of things. So your VMware, your organization to the AWS cloud environment. So all sort of things we are just talking about in the later sort of things, and that is the beauty about this AWS. So all sort of features are available because you have to understand what type of tools you can use it, what type of services you can use it, and different use cases as per your corporate environment. So the Amazon Storage Partner Solutions. So we have the three things we're just talking about. The primary storage is also important for any company, how it is effectively use it. The second thing is backup and recovery sort of things. Okay, and third thing is archiving sort of things, right? So these are the different vendors is available in the market, that Avera, Centra, NetApp, Panjura, Softness, and Zedra. These are the different vendors available. So we are just comparing with the different vendors with the Amazon S3 bucket, right? So solutions that are leverage file, block, object, and stream data format as an extensions to and promises S3. So these are the some different vendors available for primary storage. We are just going to compare with the different vendors to the S3 bucket same times in the next few slides. And these are the some backup and recovery solutions is provided by the different vendors: Commvault, Cadbury, Dura, Dell, EMC, IBM, NetApp, Veritas. Okay, solutions that leverage Amazon S3 for durable data backup. So we are using the S3 bucket, and this is a block level storage sort of things, and this is also we can use it as a S3 bucket. Okay, if the carving solutions and different vendors are available in the markets: Commvault, NetApp, Sonan, and Veritas. Okay, you if you are not using the AWS environment, eh, right? So you have to just go for the archiving sort of solutions in your physical environment of your company. Okay, and solutions that leverage Amazon Glacier to for durable and cost-effective long-term data backup. So when we are going to comparing the physical architecture of your company and also the AWS environment, right? So you have to compare all the three things, right? Primary storage, what, how much effective solutions, how much is cost effective things are available in your primary storage, and we have to compare with the S3 bucket, right? Same time also at the same time of your different vendors. And what is your backup and recovery strategies, what kind of backup recovery sort of things that we are doing in the Amazon S3. It is available different time, or it is high available or not high available. If one region goes failed, whether we have to get the data same time, backup of your data same time or not. So that is the beauty about this Amazon S3 is basically it's a different account we have mapped it, and it is cross region the applications we have mapped it. That is all. That is the beauty about this particular. We have just talking about later on the slides as well. And archiving sort of things is, so if you have the 5 terabytes of data, 10 terabytes of data of your company, and these are the some different vendors of the different cost is, what the capital expenditure and the operation expenditure is doing by the company, and whether we have to go for the Amazon Glacier, and how cost effectively and durability and can we get the data at the same time when it is required. So we have 3 to 5 hours to retrieve your data from the Glacier. So that sort of things we have to keep in mind once we're going for the storage sort of things into the cloud environment. So it is depend on the different case and different company scenarios and different strategies and different policies of the company. Okay, so I think is important here, choice of the storage classes on the S3. So the standard S3 we are just going to create, and then the if your data standard infrequent access, sometimes you access your data, sometimes you not, sometimes you have to taking the EC2 instances data. This is a standard infrequent access, right? And this is Amazon Glacier. Oh, so active data is always be standard data. Once you're actively uploading, downloading, and restoring data, it will be always be standard data, and it will be moved to the Amazon S3. and and the second thing important, infrequently accessed data. So if your data is not infrequently accessed, then you have to go with standard infrequent access, and sometimes you accessible data if you don't want it's not accessible sort of things. And if your data is archiving mode, then we have to go for the Amazon Glacier sort of things, right? So these are the three different cases, the different things available, and as per your company requirement, as per corporate requirement, or as per your cost effective solutions, you have to just decide whether we have to go for the standard sort of things, so whether we have to go for the infrequent access or sort of things, or whether we have to go for the Amazon Glacier sort of things. So it is depend on your company and your requirement sort of things. Okay, so storage classes we designed for your use cases. So we are just talking about some more use cases sort of things. So S3 standard, what is all about? The big data analysis sort of things, constant distributions, and static website hosting. So these are the some companies named Finara and Netflix. These are the accessible data actively, right? So we have it is accessible through the S3 standard sort of things, right? So it is requirement as suppose you have uh, you have watching a movie and you have to open a Netflix and it is will be accessible same time. So it is active data same time, right? So it is more frequent accessible same, we can say that. The second thing is extended IA, backup and archiving, disaster recovery, file sync and shares, long latent data. So the Pinterest and Huddle, these are the two companies are basically use this standard IA kind of data. So if any disaster has been happened, then your data is required. Backup, if you don't require, actively, it is required one day once per day or all sort of things. And file sync and share, so if your files is synced or not synced, or if sharing or not sharing sort of things. So these are the data is not frequently used, but it is used, we can say that, but it's not frequently, it's not actively use cases, we can say that. And the third thing is Amazon Glacier long-term archives, digital reservations, and magnetic tape replacement. So all sort of things, Illumina and the Sony and DACDC, new media solutions, Amazon Glacier is required. So it is a long-term archive, we can say that. If you have 3 to 5 hours to retrieve your data, you have times available, you can go for the Glacier. It is very cheaper, it's a very cost-effective solutions, we can say that. In the number of slides, we can just take a look all sort of things. So my dear friends, because the all sort of storage is also available into the in the cloud environment of AWS, but the matter of fact that what kind of use cases, what kind of cost effective solutions are required, what kind of durability required, okay, and what kind of features you required, how the type of your data is also important. So these are the terms and conditions, you have to just keep it, memorize it, and how effective your solutions, how effectively your strategies you can just create. It's a matter of time. It is a matter of fact that you created the right policies at the right time, and how how the data is accessible same time, if it is goes anything fails or disasters happen. So that sort of things you have to keep in mind all the time. Okay, then third, okay, the another sort of things is basically when should you move to the standard IA? It's also important questions. S3 analysis, storage class analysis. So visualize the access pattern of on your data over time. Measure the object age where data is frequent accessed. Deep dive by bucket, prefixes, or specific object tag. Easily create a lifecycle policy based on the analysis. So standard IA is data is basically is not frequently used data. Okay, so what you need to do it basically, first of all, you have to visualize the access pattern of your data over the times, how effectively you use it. Suppose you require data 3 months or 2 months, or you require some 6 months later, the same data. So that is the only use case we can use it. Suppose your company is creating the AWS environment, and you are architecting your AWS environment. So architecture is required once your implementation of your AWS environment. Once your architecture has been done, you don't require the same kind of data, same kind of PDF files, all sort of things. So it is required some 1 year later, or 6 months later, or 5 months later, sort of things, right? And the second example basically is, suppose you are hosting a website of sale, online sale sort of things, and how much sales of the previous 1 year. So you don't require all the time, right? You require the yearly basis, how much returns you have provided your company the previous year. So you have to just take a look in the next year. Yeah, we have provided tax, how much tax to the 1 year, previous 1 year, and how much tax will be have to provide the second year. So these are the data, these are the some sort of data types. Okay, and if your data type is not, pattern is not over the times, visualized not over the time, so you can just move to your data into the standard IA. Active data to standard IA, you have to move it. Measure the object age where data is in different access. Okay, and the deep dive bucket prefixes, and you can just create some lifecycle policy, as 30 days or 90 days later the data should be moved to the archiving sort of things, or data should be moved to the standard IA. So these are the some use cases. You can just move your active data S3 bucket to the particular standard IA. So these are the S3 analytics sort of things we're just talking about. So visualize access patterns of your data. So this is a standard, and the total size of 3 petabyte data, and then just data retrieval to 9 petabytes. So this is the use case. You can just go for it, how effective your data is, and then your standard to move to the different. Uh, uh, you can just create a lifecycle policy based on your storage use over past 115 days. We observe that you object older than 90 days and are infrequently accessed. So these are the things is shown by the AWS. If you can going for this, so this is how much data storage infrequently use case. You can just check it out. Yeah, this is 209 and 309 data. This is last 30 days, last 45 days, last 60 days, and then you can just check the data accessibility sort of things, and export S3 analytics to the tools that you can. These are the some tools you can just export the result same time, right? And these are the analytics is available. So once we're going for the S3 storage, yes, S3 bucket, right? And then we will just practical sort of things, and then these analyze options available. So this is management options available, and these are those things you will just take a look how frequently your data is accessible, right? So the first things we have cleared, pick the right storage class of your use cases. Okay, so infrequent data, archiving of data, activity data, you can just check it out, and how frequently you're using it, the data, that is also important sort of things. And you can just make some as strategy as per your requirement cases. The second thing, automate management tasks. So how can we do it? So automate data management lifecycle policies, right? So suppose you created one S3 bucket, then you have to create a lifecycle policy. After 60 days, after 90 days, your data should be moved to the glacier sort of things. So it is automatically transferring your data same time. So automatic trading and cost controls include two possible actions: transition archives to standard IA Amazon, glacier on object as you specified, and exploration deletes object after specified times. So these are the two main important features, right? We can say that first of all, how much time taking S3 bucket, your data, infrequent access of your data move to the glacier, right? So you have just saving the cost. And the second things, how delete object after specific time. So in the glacier, after the 2 years, after 3 years, if your data not accessible, data is not used, your data should be deleted same time. So you can create a policies as per your requirement, and then you're saving the cost of your data same times, right? Actions can be combined: set policies by bucket prefixes and tags, and set policies for current versions or non-current versions. And these are the lifecycle policies sort of things. So these are the things we can go for the automate sort of things. Okay, so what we can going to do it, we have created some lifecycle policies. If you're going for this particular S3 bucket, and we have different options available. So we have some prefix available, so you can just classify the same sort of rules over there. Once we're going for the practical sort of things, the tomorrow classes, then we will just doing some practical things. Okay, then so these are the some 90 days and 365 days we have mentioned it. After the 90 days of your infrequent of data, not active data, it is moved to the 90 days, right? And then after the 90 days, your data should be going to the glacier of the for the 365 days, and we can going for delete the things or whatever as per your requirement, right? So after this is the expiring your configurations, right? So you have to provide the 3650 days, and after permanently delete the particular data. So it is cost saving solutions, we can say that. Okay, to protect your data from the accidental delete. So versioning, we can just do it, protect from uninitiated user deletes or application logic failures. New version with every upload, easy retrieval of deleted objects and roll back to the previous version. So you can just enable the versioning. That is an important feature. So anyone accidentally not delete your data same times, and you can upload your data of your versioning every time and retrieval of your data. Okay, So versioning is a recycle bin. We can just retrieve. It will help. The versioning will help you out to retrieve your data once it is deleted. Same times and lifecycle policy, non-current expirations, automatic cleaning is also important here. Okay, so and it's also automated with the triggers based workflow, Amazon S3 events, and you can also SNS topics. It will notifications when objects are created via put, post, and delete multipart. So you can configure the the alerts, all sort of things onto the put, post, and copy sort of things, right? And filter or prefixes and suffix and triggers workflow and Amazon S3 lambda sort of things. Okay, cross-region application we have already talked about in the previous slides, because you have created one S3 bucket, one region, and it will be the application to a different region same times. Okay, and summary automate management tasks, so you can just cross-region applications, you can go for it, automate all sort of things, lifecycle policies, and then you can trigger based workflows, event what kind of events which is coming to your S3, and you can just check what is going on with the bucket, what is going on with the policies, what's going on with the data, whether the data is backup or restoring same times. So all sort of things you can go for it and easily recover from the accidental delete with the versioning. So you can go for the versioning same time, so you can recover your data same time. Okay, so the second thing is automate. We have done it. So that thing we are just talking about the best practices to optimize S3 performance. So we have faster upload over long distances, S3 transfer acceleration. So with this is S3 transfer accelerations we have to enable into this particular S3 bucket. Change your endpoint, not your code. No firewall changes or client software required. Longer distance, larger files are benefited faster for free. 68 global edge locations, and try to S3 speedtest.com. So these are this is the S3 transfer acceleration service. You have to enable it, and then your S3 bucket is speed faster, and you can 68 global locations. You can just go for it. So that is the beauty about the S3 bucket. We can go for it. Okay, the faster upload of your large object parallelize puts into the multi part upload. So we are just already talking about if you have larger files, you can just go for the multi-part uploads, and then it will be small chunks of your data, and it will be saved into your S3 bucket. So there is no issues once it is goes fail or what sort of things happen. So faster download, you have this put command, get command, all things command we can also use into the AWS CLI once we're going to create it, and different queries we can go for it, CSV files and TSV files, JSON files, all sort of things are we can go for it. And the $5 per TB scanned from the S3. This is the important prospects for the cost effective things, and this is the serverless sort of things, and antenna. So Amazon and Anthena, we are using it for other things, right? So these are some console sort of things of Anthena. The SQL sort of queries we can go for it, scan type sort of things. The ATPS high distribution key management. So the different whatever the things are uploaded, downloaded, or all sort of things. It is in the logs are maintained, and you can just check it out at any time. Distribute key names, different key names, all sort of things are available in your S3 bucket. So it is why S3 inventory required. This is saving your time. CSV files, file format, output. We can go it daily, weekly delivery. We can check it out and delivery to S3 bucket. So all four things we are just using, and it is the half of the price of the list of APIs, right? So 1 million API hitting, right? API is basically your application program interface, the queries of the customers, different kind of queries, and then you have to say your 0.25 per million objects in the listed. Okay, so these are the select the bucket, and then what a size, method, storage class, egg, the application status, this sort of things. It's also available. Okay, so best performance, this is SQL query, and then what sort of things you're using it, which is also depend, right? Faster upload, get up command, and the different things is available. And what are the tools to help you manage storage? Different tools we are using it. Optimize your data with the S3 object tags. We have provided different tags. Okay, classify your data up to 10 tags per object. Okay, and tag your objects with the key value pairs. So write policies once based on your type of your data. You can create a policies as per your data's requirement, right? Put object with the tag or existing objects. So your mailbox data, your financial data, your DevOps data, or different data, you can just provide the policies as per the requirement. What kind of infrequent access of the data, frequent access of data, how to back up your data, how to restoring your data, when we should have to archiving your data. So that sort of things. So you can just doing the things. Access controls of your data, lifecycle policies you can create, right? And storage metrics and analytics. So your data is backed up or not backed up, restoring, and how much time to restoring, how much what time to restoring the data from the glacier, right? So that sort of what metrics and analysis you have to just keep in mind is coming from the CloudWatch, from the SNS services. Okay, and the lifecycle policies, how S3 data is sending to the glacier, how much life cycle period you have just provided there. So that's that sort of things. And access control, how who is going to access your data, and how effectively creating the policies, that sort of things is access control sort of things. So we control list over there, and different permissions, different use cases. And you can also provide the command line, which command, get command to a different user, put command to different user, so you can control, right? And it is also a requirement once the audit is going on with your company. So that is the AWS that it is also help you in the audit of your IT. So these are some is also available. Different uses you can allow, deny, whatever, audit. The same things I'm talking about, audit and monitor access. Cloud trail is also important. Cloud trail basically is finding out what's going on, how it's going on, and different use cases going on. Meet your IT auditing and compliance needs, and okay, and take immediate actions on activity. So it is basically, if you have well managed of your data, or well managed of your storage part of your AWS, is cost effective solutions, is very manageable, is durable, is long term use case. And you have different regions available for storing your data, different use case. Like if your data is a petabyte, you can just go for the glacier sort of things, so it's more cheaper sort of things. So that's all sort of things. And this is the pricing of 0.10 per 1000 of your 1 million of your data events. So this is the what pricings log delivered to put bucket, enable at bucket level, capture as 3 bucket request, right? So these are some CloudWatch metrics. You will just configure it on the S3 bucket, and then it will provide you the logs same times, right? The store classify. So the summary is basically classify, storage, and manage access with S3 object tags, and audit and monitor access the cloud trail. Cloud trail, we are just talking about the monitoring part. The CloudWatch, cloud trail inspector, different things are available. Once we're going for the monitoring kind of stuff, we will be talking about in advanced features, right, of a CloudWatch, CloudTrail, and Inspector, and some different features, right? And monitor operational performance and set alarms with S3 CloudWatch metrics. So we can just doing the number of things with the S3 bucket, right? So these are the 4 pillars of the S3. The storage part we have just done it today, right? So tomorrow we are just doing some the practice of S3 a little bit of, and then we have to move to the second part of the glacier, then ABS, and different things of storage and advanced features. Okay, so thank you for your time. Or any confusion or any doubts, please let me know right now if you have. So we are just going to wrap up this class today, right? And then we are just meet you tomorrow at same time, 7 a.m. in the morning, right? Thank you for your time. So any confusions of any topic in this S3 bucket? Hello?
No, no, it's okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Bye. Take care.